July 28, 2021. Essex, Maryland. A quiet suburb outside Baltimore. What begins as a routine traffic stop will soon unravel into one of the most disturbing discoveries in the state's history. A secret so horrifying it leaves hardened officers visibly shaken, a community outraged, and two children's tragic lives finally brought into the light. At 11 p.m., a routine traffic stop in Essex, Maryland, spiraled into horror. Officers would soon confront a stench that defied explanation, and make a discovery so shocking it left seasoned first responders physically ill. Two small lives, hidden in plain sight for over a year. This is the story of Nicole Johnson, and the unimaginable crime that haunted a family, a community, and everyone who touched this case. Welcome to Dark Matters TV, where we explore the darkest corners of true crime and human behavior. We tell every true crime story with love, care, and the deepest respect for the victims and their families. If stories like this fascinate and haunt you, consider subscribing. It helps us tell more of these stories to help understand them better. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a case. And if you've been with us for a while but haven't subscribed yet, your support means the world. It helps us shine more light on these stories to keep the victims' names remembered and the truth uncovered. Just after 11 p.m., officer of the Baltimore County Police Department initiates a traffic stop on Eastern Boulevard, near Wagner's Lane. A small car speeds past, its tag suspicious, the driver visibly nervous. What begins as a simple citation feels routine, at first. Soft radio chatter fills the air. Unit 12, traffic stop, Eastern and Wagner's Lane. Approaching the vehicle, the officer quickly realizes something is off. The driver identifies herself as 33-year-old Nicole Johnson. She has no license. The temporary tags on the car are fake. The vehicle itself is unregistered and will have to be towed. A minor infraction, yes, but Johnson's behavior immediately stands out. She steps from the car, pacing nervously, muttering to herself. And then, almost as if speaking to no one in particular, she makes a cryptic remark. "It don't matter. I won't be here in 5 days. Y'all gonna see me on the news, making my big debut." The officer barely registers her words, an odd statement from a nervous driver, nothing more. But in just minutes, that strange comment will take on a horrifying meaning, as this routine traffic stop spirals into one of the most shocking discoveries in Maryland's history. The car, now destined for impound, sits quietly on the shoulder of Eastern Boulevard. Its headlights have gone dark, replaced by the pulsating glow of police cruisers washing the night in red and blue. Standard protocol demands an inventory search before the tow, a routine process meant to document what's inside. But nothing about what officers are about to find will feel routine. Nicole Johnson steps toward the rear of the vehicle, fumbling with the keys. Her movements are jittery, her breathing uneven, as though she knows what's coming. The trunk latch clicks, and the heavy lid lifts slowly upward. Hinges creak in protest. A beam of flashlight pierces the darkness, illuminating what lies within. At first glance, it appears ordinary enough. Tightly packed belongings, a chaotic jumble of blankets and garbage bags. But as the first bag is shifted aside, something hits the officer like a wall. A stench so strong it triggers an instinctive recoil. It's not the sour musk of spoiled food or damp clothing. This is sharper, heavier. The unmistakable odor of decay. The officer detects maggots and the unmistakable odor of decomposition. "Do you smell something dead?" The officer steps back, covering his mouth, struggling to steady himself as his stomach churns. He signals quietly for backup, motioning toward the open trunk. A second officer approaches, hesitant, uncertain of what to expect. He leans in and immediately freezes. There is no mistaking it. They both know that smell. Years on the job do not dull it, but there is need to verify. Carefully, they peel back a stained blanket draped across the rear compartment. Underneath, the beam of light catches on a rigid suitcase wedged tight against a plastic storage tote. The two containers sit side by side, unnervingly neat amid the chaos. The officer steadies his voice, forcing calm into a situation that is rapidly spiraling into horror. He instructs Nicole to open it. His words are measured, but the tension is palpable. Nicole hesitates, eyes darting, before muttering something about dirty clothes. A claim so feeble it lands with eerie hollowness against the heavy silence of the roadside. But the officer has already made up his mind. That smell is not fabric. It is not food. It is something far worse. He insists she open the bag completely. What happens next will not only confirm the officer's worst fears, but reveal a secret so vile it will leave the entire department, and eventually the world, reeling. Inside the suitcase, the remains of a young girl, later identified as 7-year-old Jocelyn Marie James Johnson. Next to her, inside a plastic tote, the remains of 5-year-old Larry Darnell. Both children were Nicole's niece and nephew. The bodies were severely decomposed, so much so, investigators couldn't immediately determine how they died. What they did know was this: these children had been in the trunk for months, maybe longer. These children had been dead for months, perhaps longer, yet Nicole Johnson carried them everywhere. In the back of her car, on every errand, every drive, every quiet moment when the world around her had no idea of the horror sealed away in that trunk. Their small bodies, packed into a suitcase and a tote bag, left to rot as life outside continued on. We may never truly understand why she murdered her own sister's children. Why she chose silence instead of help, concealment instead of burial. What kind of darkness allows a person to live every day with such a secret, driving from place to place with death as a constant passenger? But what is certain is this: Jocelyn and Larry's lives mattered. Their story is not just tragedy, it's a warning. A reminder of the quiet suffering children endure when no one is watching. And if this story moved you, if it made you pause, even for a moment, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support allows us to bring these stories to light, to honor the victims, and to recognize the warning signs before another life is lost. Nicole Johnson suddenly bolts. Panic replaces the eerie calm she's maintained for the entire stop. She darts toward the darkness of Eastern Boulevard, desperate to escape the flashing lights and the truth spilling from the back of her car. Officers react instantly. One lunges, grabbing her by the arm. Another intercepts from the side, forcing her down onto the pavement. Johnson thrashes, shouting incoherently, but exhaustion and adrenaline collide. Within seconds, she's restrained, wrists locked in handcuffs, breath ragged. The scene shifts quickly from a routine traffic stop to a crime scene. Radios crackle with urgency, requesting detectives, possible homicide, child victims. Within minutes, unmarked vehicles arrive. Detectives step into the harsh glow of cruiser headlights, their faces set in grim determination. They move toward the open trunk, a quiet, almost reverent silence falling as they peer inside. Even for seasoned investigators, the sight is staggering. 2 small bodies, wrapped and left to decompose for months, discovered not in a secluded field, but in the everyday chaos of a roadside tow. What began as a simple citation has become a nightmare, and the investigation into Nicole Johnson's unfathomable actions is only just beginning. Jocelyn and Larry were born in Dayton, Ohio, to Deshelle Johnson. Life wasn't perfect, but the children were described as playful and sweet. Jocelyn loved coloring and dancing. Larry was shy, often clinging to his big sister. In July 2019, Deshelle entrusted her children to her sister Nicole in Maryland, hoping for stability while she sorted out housing and work. There was no formal custody, just trust between sisters. It was a decision Deshelle would regret for the rest of her life. By March 2021, Deshelle had lost contact. Arrangements to retrieve the kids fell apart. She only learned of their deaths when police notified her. May 2020, Johnson admits to detectives that during an argument with her 7-year-old niece, she struck Jocelyn multiple times. The girl fell, hit her head, and didn't wake up. I panicked. I put her in a suitcase, put it in my trunk. Johnson claims Larry simply fell asleep and never woke up. She placed his body beside his sister's in the tote. By the time police found them, both children were malnourished. Autopsy shows Jocelyn weighed just 18 pounds, Larry 21 pounds. Homicides ruled by unspecified means. Chief of Baltimore County Police condemns the case as a devastating incident, one that not only shocked our community to its core, but significantly affected our patrol officers. August 13, 2024. Johnson pleads guilty to 2 counts of first-degree child abuse resulting in the death of a minor under 13. The jury sentences Johnson to life in prison, with all but 50 years suspended. She will have no contact with minors, must undergo mental health treatment, and will be on supervised probation if ever released. Deshelle Johnson speaks. I still trusted her. This is my blood sister. The mistake I made in trusting will always fall on me. I'll never get to see my kids. She expressed regret about her decision on a now-deleted GoFundMe. How could 2 children vanish for months without detection? Jocelyn and Larry were never reported missing. They weren't enrolled in school. Their mother lived her life without hearing her children's voices. No phone calls, no visits, no birthday wishes or holiday greetings. Just silence, a silence she tried to fill with work, with survival, with the hope that entrusting them to family meant they were safe. But as this case reveals, sometimes the danger lies closest to home. It forces us to ask an uncomfortable question. How does a mother go that long without speaking to her children? Was it misplaced trust? Was it denial? Or was it the heartbreaking reality of struggling families? Separated by poverty, by distance, by the desperate search for something better? This story exposes more than one tragedy. It shows us the cracks in a family's foundation, the consequences of unspoken assumptions, and the unimaginable betrayal that can hide behind a familiar face. It is also a sobering reminder to every parent: be vigilant. Know who you're entrusting your children to. Because while you're out hustling for a better future, their safety, their very lives, depend on the choices you make in the present. If you suspect child abuse, contact your local authorities immediately. This is not just a story, it's a tragedy. Jocelyn and Larry's lives ended in silence. May they rest in peace, and may their story remind us of our shared responsibility to protect the vulnerable. Thank you for staying with us till this moment, and I hope you have already clicked the subscribe button. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware.